too. And I'll tell you one thing, they won't send the game ball from this one to Springfield.
Welcome to the Brick Shop, the Palace in Auburn Hills. First half action, John starts to the Knicks with the open baseline jumper. Not. Xavier McDaniel says, hey, John, here's how you get it done. Well, almost. Starks, not the gun-shy type, fires again. The ball takes a victory lap and comes out. It was 21-19 at the end of the first quarter for the Pistons. Now, if you love defense, great. If you dig offense, you had a better chance of seeing more made shots by picking up the remote control and flipping to, say, this on television. Okay, but back to the Brick Shop for the second quarter. The Masons still at work, and the Knicks weren't the only culprits. Orlando Woolridge chipped the paint off the rim with his feathery touch right here. Joe Dumars couldn't bear to watch it either. Pat Riley got Excedrin headache number 46 as the Knicks shot a staggering 15% in the second quarter. Enough to make you say, hey, forget the Knicks.
It's wide to Eric Wilkerson.
What about the Knights of the World League? Hey, they've got the shooting, they've got the run and shoot. Okay, back to the Palace anyway. The Knicks got creative and they exploded for 13 points in the third quarter and trailed 52-44. The fourth quarter was more of this for New York as Detroit won 72-61 in ugly ball one. Thank God there's no sequel plan. 61 points, the lowest in New York history. The Knicks travel to Beantown. They cross the point of no return. New York hasn't won a regular season game on the parquet floor since 1984. But Wednesday, the Knicks look like they might end the agony of 22 consecutive losses at the Garden as they took an early 5-point lead. But the Celtics threw the knockout punch down the stretch and put some hustle behind their muscle.
Rebound, McHale, Kevin again, tries again, got it!
Pat Riley ripped his team as he saw his Atlantic Division lead slipping away.
This is another tough loss. We just got to rebound. I can't, dwell on what happened. It's frustrating, it's disappointing, but we have it in our control, and we've been talking about it, working for it all year long, and it's in our hands.
If you're not capable of beating any team in the NBA, then why do you worry about where your positioning is? It's how you're playing going in the playoffs. If you believe you can beat anybody, then hey, let's get after it. Let's play. Your court, my court, let's go out and get it on.
The Knicks aren't the only team to have felt the sting of the Pistons' D. The NBA's top defense also pushed the 76ers over the edge on Wednesday. The Pistons held the Sixers to only 10 points in the second quarter, the same output for the Knicks on Sunday. And Philadelphia tallied only 71 points overall in the 18-point Piston win, establishing the all-time worst scoring output in Sixers history. The Miami Heat roared to new franchise highs this week as well. First, in Landover on Friday versus the Bullets. The Heat completed a sweep of the 5-game season series with Washington, Glenn Rice totaling 22 points. But Rice climbed to a franchise best on Saturday as he more than doubled that output versus the Magic.
Skiles stripped. Shaw up ahead to Rice. Watch this. Steve Smith transition. Rice for three. Big shot if it's good. What a show by Glenn Rice. A career high 46. A franchise high 46. Oh, man.
Yeah, I was in there tonight. I was on fire, and I felt that I had to go and get the ball, and things were going pretty good for us.
Now, we may be making mountains out of molehills regarding what the Mavericks did on Saturday, but Dallas accomplished something it hadn't done since December the 23rd. It won on the road. The Mavericks' 99-92 win at the Summit in Houston snapped a string of 26 consecutive road losses, the longest in the NBA this season. Ironically, Dallas's last road win came against, you guessed it, the Rockets. The Clippers scaled a new mountain with their win over Denver on Saturday. Charles Smith was flawless from the floor, hitting all 10 of his field goals, as Los Angeles tallied its 44th win of the season, the most since the franchise won 46 when they were known as the Buffalo Braves, and Jack Ramsey was wearing some funky-looking threads on the sidelines. The Milwaukee Bucks are plummeting faster than Jerry Brown's flat tax idea. They fell to where they haven't been since 1979. For the first time in 13 years, the Bucks are on the outside looking in at the playoffs. The Bucks were busted and officially eliminated when they lost to the Pacers on Saturday.
And right now, Indiana is in perfect position to shut the door on these guys.
Start digging up the dirt.
Yep.
Start throwing the dirt on.
The dirt on the Bucks is that they'll participate in their first ever NBA lottery. And they might have some rare company if the Lakers don't make the playoffs as well.
Who would have ever thought that, huh, when the season first started? Dell room. Mark Schwartz has the story.
Neither Dwayne, nor Heat, nor McHale, not even Kite, can deter the mailman from the swift and gravity-defying completion of his appointed rounds. He's basketball's most ferocious finisher, a marvelous marriage of power and speed. In the top 5 in the MVP race 3 years running, and 3 men have blocked his path to the pinnacle. But one has retired, another has regressed. But the third has soared to the top and threatens never to come down.
The Bulls have won 80% of their games this season, and Michael Jordan is a premier player of the league. I think you could make a case for Michael to be a unanimous MVP selection this season.
I doubt if I ever win it, really. And it's not something that's throughout my career it's going to be a #1 priority of mine. It used to be, but it's not anymore. So I guess when you grow up as a person and a player, those things become less and less important.
Carl seems to become more valuable every year. You know, he works on something every year. He started, as you know, as a poor free throw shooter and got that going.
A miserable 48% from the stripe as a rookie, Malone now lives at the line. In fact, he's made more free throws this season than anyone else has even attempted. In scoring, he trails only Jordan. He's a ravenous rebounder, and no one has hands like the mailman. Still, some who've watched his every move don't even consider Carl the MVP of SLC.
I think that we would win more games without Karl Malone than we would without John Stockton, because John is the leader of the team. Carl's not really a leader, and he'll get technical fouls every now and then, and he'll lose his cool.
You know, I think part of that comes with winning as well. You know, if you get to the finals, all of a sudden you become known as a leader if you're the star player.
But the NBA Finals remains a zip code unknown to Karl Malone. In fact, since '85, the Jazz have survived the first round only twice and have never reached the conference finals, while Jordan has led Chicago there 3 times in a row.
I think it boils down to where you are at the end of the year. I think that's what it boils down to, and that's what MVP means, that you put your team to another level. And we've been at the same level for 4 years.
Well, everyone expected them to win 50 games this year. Maybe if they won 60 or 70 games, then I could have voted for them.
Utah never has won more than 55 games, and the Jazz won't do it this year. And since '78, when Walton won, the MVP has guided his team to an average of 59 victories. In fact, the most common trait shared by NBA MVPs, their teams had the league's top record during the regular season. Second biggest factor, winning the scoring title. Jordan converts on both counts, which is why this race may be as one-sided as airmail versus Pony Express. I'm Mark Schwartz for the NBA Today.
One of the hardest workers in the league. I remember Malone saying that he learned his good work habits when he was a rookie from Adrian Dantley when the two were teammates with Utah. Well, it's time for a breather, but our bucket is not empty yet. Still ahead on the NBA Today, we'll show you the hot shit this week.
Bust. 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 Bust.
Steal by Nate McMillan. What's Clyde? And Jerome.
Listen, everybody, to my blazer rhyme about one night when I shot to the big-time Coliseum Friday night. Sitting up front where the lights are bright. 2 hot seats, oh yeah, fantastic. Me and Jay sitting right by the basket. Blazer dancers bumping, thumping. Big shot block, Buck Williams pumping. Slapped so hard that ball was flying right in my face, man, I ain't lying. Tried to duck, but the ball done decked me. Knocked me cold, disconnect me. Next thing I know, I'm in a Blazer jersey. Coach says, hey, you're going in for Kersey. I said, you're right, man, check you out. And then he got in my face and began to shout. Oh, this is going to be hotter than I thought. How you spelling that?
He's got 16. And at the buzzer, deflated goal!
Half-court hook shot and it soared, but the ref said,
sorry, son, you didn't call backboard.
Pick up the phone, Bob Costa's ringing. Next thing I know, man, Kersley's singing.
Ooh, baby, you got the touch. Take it easy, man, you're working too much. Future things, coach has said, just let's fix that bump on your head.
I was gonna join in and sing some bass when a Duckworth pass hit me right in the face. Knocked me right up off my feet, right back to my front row seat. Woke up dizzy, head just screaming. What's that word? I must have been dreaming.
Buster like a hooter, Dr. Blazer, do these super, I can slam it, Jesus, kill it, please, and go, get it, got it good.